Welcome to the Temple of Speed. If you know exactly why this track is so famous and has done so much, you only need to look at what happened last week. This is a track which does not forgive, does not forget. It is the highest percentage full throttle you will be all season long. It is a track which, by all intents and purposes, you are built for slipstream and overtake. And we're on the outskirts of Milan. What more is there to love? Welcome to Monza for the opening round of your iRacing Grand Prix series. It's 2021 Season 4, and we are in for a treat. Jake Sperry, Jay Kennedy, bringing you all of the action here today from this high-speed thrill ride. And Jay, we look around this place every single time we're here and go, this is where great sim racing is made. And you can see the old course banking there, and just how much of an influence that had on this new modern circuit.
There we go, that's better. Good morning, Sperry. Yeah, I love this place. It's fantastic. And you're right, this place is just such a special circuit. It's so simple on paper, but so difficult to extract that final tenth of speed. We're going to see some great racing here. We did last season when we were here only 5 weeks ago. It's going to be a brilliant race once again. This track turns it on each and every time we're here.
It absolutely does, and we're starting to see those first times coming in on the board as we are gearing it up. 3 splits tonight, meaning that we have 66 drivers in all going for it. We've got the top 22 here giving absolutely everything they can and a bit more, and the first times are cropping up on the board as we go. That fabled track, of course, it's all chicane apart from 3 corners out on track, but those are 3 very good corners, 2 Lesmos and the 1 hairpin. But the key is it's Adam Gleeson who is on top of the times at the moment, 119.858, and it is showing that we have a really strong field here today, and it's not going to be as plain sailing as maybe other people think it's going to be. And that's an interesting start already for Jorge Martinez, who's going out on the yellow wall medium compound tyre.
Yeah, it's surprising to see him out there on the yellow wall. Obviously thinking long-term strategies. We saw last season it was a real tough race for tyres, and a lot of drivers went soft medium, so maybe he's thinking reverse, start on the mediums, get a bit of speed up through laps 10 to 15, lap 10 to 20, gain some big advantage, and then come through on the softs at the end. There are a couple of drivers who were able to stretch out softs to 18 laps, which was very rare last season. So we'll see if it is possible to do that again, but medium is going to be the tyre of choice for a lot of the drivers out there in this race.
It certainly will do. Matt Wood can only manage 3rd fastest, by the way. Adam Gleeson's gone even quicker. Martinez over the line, and there's nothing as of yet with that. But a lot of drivers out there are going to be hoping for good times. There is Ben Horrell, number 22 car, making progress towards the line. We'll see what this is going to be, and I want to keep an eye out on the 4 just afterwards. So that's 120.5 then coming over the line. And here is a former pro stripe driver who was right up there in the Coanda ranks. Martin Piatella, 119.8, goes 2nd quickest and has another lap yet.
Very good lap for Piatella. Adam Gleeson's still on top though. Adam Webb, another driver that looks like he's not fooling me at the moment. He's definitely on the medium tyre, so he won't able to improve on that lap. Insay Yook, good to see him back for another season, and slots in the 6th position. Good lap.
Yeah, good lap. 1 position change then, and by 0.02 of a second, Kent Nielsen dives into the pits. John Pat Kelly out there searching for that 2nd lap to work out there, as is Jorge Martinez, who qualified himself into the Dallara iRacing Grand Prix Championship, the DIGPC, and that's a 120.9, so that's good enough for 15th place at the moment for Martinez, which is a little bit concerning off of the start, but this is only the 1st lap, and there will be 1 more, and the crucial thing is he's got to find that time on this 2nd lap, because he's up against the likes of Jamie Hall in the 8, who's also gone to the mediums. Now here comes Piatella for another chance. Marty, of course, the Finnish driver, looking to push. He's He's got to find a tenth and a bit. And does he find it? Oh, he just about did. By just 12 thousandths of a second, Marty has stolen pole position, Rick.
What a good lap. Absolutely brilliant lap there at the end. And it doesn't matter how much you get pole by. If you get pole by 1,000th, it's just as good as getting it by a second. And what a good lap there for Piatella. Great to see him back in the series as well.
Certainly is, Jay. You know, we put ourselves in such a privileged position seeing these drivers go out there, try and set these qualifying laps. It's such a speed thrill. All 22 have set a lap time on the board, and this is going to be a really tactical race today with the tyre strategy being implemented around this circuit. Martinez rounding the final corner needs to improve on P15. The likes of Jamie Hall there in the mix. John Pat Kelly goes to 17th fastest, and that is an improvement and a crucial one as well. Gets ahead of Jamie Hall. Will be on the outside 7th row of the grid with that work on the medium compound tyre. So that is everyone done in qualifying. Nobody is going to go any quicker. We are going to take ourselves over towards the starting grid and see how everyone is going to stack up then here today around this beautiful, beautiful Monza circuit. And it is the number 4, the former pro driver, Marty Piatella, who takes the pole position. Adam Gleeson along for the ride in second. James J. Pinsker, the Portsmouth, England man, there in third, with Diogo Oliveira in fourth. Matt Wood starts fifth with Jin Se-yuk, the South Korean, in sixth position overall. Thomas Wieck will go from seventh with Kent Nielsen in eighth. Liam Buckley starts ninth, along with Ben Horrell rounding out the top 10. Following that is Darren Parker and Luke Dowding on row number 6 of the grid, with Sergio Borja and Jorge Martinez there, all on row 7, all Spanish. Then it's Jamie Hall and Kleber Toffoli. We look back down there, you've got the likes of John Pat Kelly, Klaus Siemetz, and then the likes of Yuki Shirakawa, Adam Webb, Jan Brezina, and Anthony Catt, making the 22 drivers here for this opening challenge. Cold track temperatures here today, 24 degrees, evening conditions. They will not get any hotter. It will not get any easier here today. And if they are to find the result that they need, at least one stop is required. It's a 35-lap race. It's 2/3 of official Formula 1 distance, so 200 kilometers they will be racing out on track. This is the first round. It's 35 laps, and everything is built up for this. The reigning champion, starting from P5 on the grid, has been outclassed today in qualifying. The likes of Adam Gleeson will want the SRT car to be up there. What will Coanda do with Marty Piatella? You've got the likes of James J. Pinsker, who definitely shows that pace, and Diogo Oliveira, someone who knows how to use up a tyre or two, will definitely want to get into the mix as well. 20 seconds then they will have, just waiting on Jorge Martinez to make his way up onto the grid, and Jan Brezina as well, or they will be starting from that place known as Pit Road. And of course, we'll be getting the lights procedure starting right around now. Let's get ready here at Monza. 35 all-important laps. They will be starting right now, and we are underway. Slow start from Pinsker off of the front. They're going to swarm by as they make this charge over towards turn number 1 for the first time. Watch out for troubles, Loretta Filio. Then, as it's side by side all the way, Adam Gleeson, Marty Piatella. They go through, big one in the back. Big one in the back, and it's caught out 3 or 4 different drivers there that has gone through. And I think Kleber Toffoli was one of them who potentially got caught. Jamie Hall as well. A disastrous start as they go through. But at the front, it is Marty Piatella who's broken away.
Adam Gleeson had a slowdown as well through turn 1, so he's dropped a whole heap of positions. Slotted back into 11th. He was 5th, so he's dropped a long way back. Jan Brezina just getting through as well. Sorry, that was Ben Horrell on Adam Gleeson. Jan Brezina having a little bit of a moment, slow down as well by the looks of it.
There was contact as well with Liam Buckley just behind, so he serves a slowdown. Horrell was not happy over the radio, I believe, with Jan Brezina saying, come on, you can't serve a slowdown penalty in the middle of the road. This is sim racing, for goodness sake. You've got to be alert to it. But already the train starting to form, and it will go all the way back to Thomas Wieck at this stage. Now, here's what's going to be really confusing about this race. Try and spot the difference between Thomas Wieck and Jin Se-yuk.
The helmet.
Yeah, I'll give you that one. It's an easy game, isn't it? But at least an opening lap has been scored as complete at this moment in time. And already you can see on this opening lap, it has not been easy to break away. Here's some side-by-side, though. That is Sergio Borja down the inside. And Borja getting through on Ben Horrell. That is a pass for 8th place going through. Adam Gleeson just behind. Want to get back through because he's already dropped 2 seconds to that leading train that he would desperately want back when DRS activates on the next lap.
Yeah, and Borja already starting to hold the pack up. Gleeson through on Ben Horrell. Tell you what, we're going to be able to see Ben Horrell all season if he continues to run that pink livery. Absolutely striking colour. Gleeson looking for a bit of redemption now, back up to 9th, but he'll be trying to get himself back up into that lead group. Going to be a tough ask because they're well and truly out of DRS range. They're 2.5 seconds back now and dropping time very, very quickly.
And the top 2 in this race have broken away. Piatilla and Oliveira are clear, the 2 former pro drivers in the field. You've got Matt Wood there in 3rd. Jin Se-yuk is currently in 4th position. We focus then on Adam Gleeson, who had that atrocious start to the race. It's got it all to make up here at Monza. What is going to be worth noting as well here, Jay, as we look at James J. Pinsker with a flare of the Jordan about that McLaren, trying to make that run on Jin Se-yuk here, lap 3 of course. It's more often that you say Jordan versus Mercedes on the run into one, and a big snap of locking there, the rear axle locking up for James J. Pinsker. He's going to take to the escape road and just drive through the cones and take the slow down penalty, and someone off there as well. That's Klaus Siemens with that rear wing.
Yeah, Siemens was just stopped at an interesting spot, so let's see if we can work out what happened there, because that was strange to see both incidents, really.
In the presence, in the sim of another pro driver, Tomo Meglic. It's been a long while since we've seen him in sim racing circles, but this is what happened with James J. Pinsker, the pro driver in the Dallara iRacing World Championship Series, and this is how easily it can go wrong. He didn't grab grass under brakes, he just hits the brakes, and just locks the rear axle up, and just the car just decides, no, I don't want to turn, I'm just going to loop you around. And this is Siemens just getting a tap there from Liam Buckley, it seems.
Yeah, Buckley just missed the braking point there, and I guess the positive to take away with that is the incident wasn't too bad, and Klaus Siemens didn't end up in the wall or facing the wrong way, or they both didn't end up in the wall, but still won't be too happy. Oliveira starting to apply some pressure now at the front.
He absolutely is, and it's going to be tough work for Marty Piatilla to hold back that one. I believe that's Google Play on the side of his car right there. Yep, it absolutely is. Moving on through, so if you want some sponsorship looks, that is Diogo Oliveira for you, marketing in all of the right ways, heading through into the Della Roggia second chicane out there on this layout. And it's going to be a case of how much can you hold behind with the dirty air in the middle sector that gives you the run over the course of this race. There are 2 DRS zones on this circuit, and this is the second one of them on the run up to Ascari.
Yep, shorter DRS, so this one doesn't really offer up too much overtaking unless you're right there through the Lesmos, but what it does do, it draws you up so that you're right there up to the parabolic and ready to potentially get a move done down the front straight. As we said before numerous times, DRS isn't there to help you get an overtake, it's there to help you get in the position where you may be able to get an overtake if you are good enough.
Yeah, and that is what is so crucial about the DRS at a circuit like this. Marty Piatilla leading this race outright. We have lost a number of drivers in this race. Jamie Hall, Claver Toffoli is 1 lap down, as is Jan Brezina, and now Luke Dowding is a lap down here in this one. But again, not close enough from the front 2 to see any form of meaningful change in this one. Interesting scraps are going to be going on in the second pack, and you can see the likes of Thomas Peak in there. Ken Nielsen had a really good start. He's up 3 places so far and is knocking on the door. Jin Se-yuk as well, looking good. And there's Ben Horrell in the prettiest pink car that you could ever imagine, finding out that turn number 1 and 2, the rest of the video, is not pretty.
That's a strange sort of way to rejoin the track. You normally see cars a lot further over or more over the sausage curb, so you don't normally see cars launch it over the sausage curve there on the inside. Most drivers stay away from that one for that exact reason. We don't see that too often in races.
Max Verstappen, sorry, what? But at least at this point in time, maybe, but at least at this point in time, you definitely say battles on. This is James J. Pinsker now trying to recover through the field, and he has got his eye on another World Championship driver in front. That is Jorge Martinez, who of course is on the yellow wall mediums, and I would say at this stage, Martinez trying the mediums out on a track which is so short in terms of time distance, might be going for a no-stop.
Potentially could, with the track conditions being a lot cooler than what we ran only 5 weeks ago in this. And remember, in that race, Diogo Oliveira picked up a very, very classy win. So Oliveira looking for another win, and Martinez didn't even put up a fight there with Pinsker. He knows they're not in the same race at this stage, and his battle is to come later on in this one.
Absolutely correct. And that battle will be with those out in front, Martin Pietila and of course Diogo Oliveira. Now here's Ben Horrell trying to get back through, and the pass on Adam Webb is concocted and concluded without any issues at all. He gives a little thank you on the radio. I like that. A nice easy pass is what the doctor ordered here today, and we'll be looking for a little bit more out there on track, as is Liam Buckley. He's got his eyes on the Japanese driver who's up 8 places, biggest mover in the field right now, Yuki Shirakawa.
Yeah, good to see Yuki out there enjoying the huge range of Japanese drivers we had throughout the season last season. We had a lot turn up, but we didn't have too many that stuck with it, with the incredibly early start it is. It's currently, I believe, 4 a.m. in Tokyo or 5 a.m. in Tokyo, so very, very early start for those guys, and great to see them out there, and hopefully we see a couple stick on for a full season in this strength of field time slot.
Yeah, we saw last season Hiroyuki Sakaguchi, one of the main drivers who did that, as on the brakes they go, in towards the right-left of Rettifilo, and no chances then to see an overtake just yet for Liam Buckley. He's got to be a patient driver, make sure that the chances come along a little bit later on. There is Diogo Oliveira, and he's going to fool you the other way, Jay, over the course of this season. He's got the red rims on, so he's trying to say he's always going to be on the soft compound tyre. He's
doing the reverse of Adam Webb, and it will confuse me, no doubt. Adam Webb confused me so many times last season, and admitted that that was the whole idea of him running the yellow rims on his car, was to confuse people, but it wasn't his intention to confuse us. I just want to say again, Kent Nielsen has done this every single week over the past 4 or 5 months. Somehow goes unnoticed, all of a sudden he's in the top 5 and looking like he deserves to be there. He's doing brilliant at the moment.
Certainly is, but focus on the race lead, because Party Marty might just be in overtaking mode. Here comes Diogo Oliveira. He thought about it, lifted off a bit then on the outside, underneath the Lego Technic sponsorship that is there on the car, and now power back on as they exit the Rettifilo then and look to challenge once again here in this race. So Diogo Oliveira knows that he can afford to be a little bit patient. He doesn't have to go out there, be massively aggressive at this point in time. He just knows he's got to stay in range, because that pit stop window might be vital. But what we do know as well out of Diogo Oliveira, he does have a tendency to use a heap of tyre.
Yep, Oliveira, if you were to compare Oliveira versus Martinez, they're the polar opposite in tyre usage and tyre wear. So if Martinez is going for a no-stop, Oliveira would probably be wishing it was a 2-stop race so that he could get the tyres to last. But in saying that, he did pick up the win here last season, and he did it on good tyre management and good smart strategy. So if he can do something like that again, it looks quite content just sitting behind. He probably could have got the move done last lap. If you're just content sitting behind, saving a bit of tyre, maybe able to get 1 extra lap, which will be huge come later on in the race.
There has been an overtake over that last lap, and it's James J. Pinsker who's fought Sergio Borja for position. So Borja has more to do in order to bring this on, and a little battle from behind as well. Shirakawa is under pressure as through goes Adam Gleeson making the move in the SRT machine at the Rettifilo. And just behind you, in the back of the shop, bit of side-by-side that's already concluded as Shirakawa loses the place to Liam Buckley. But Adam Gleeson now really doing well to recover up. He's now up into 6th position, past Thomas Veek. His eyes next will be on Kent Nielsen.
Here comes Shirakawa. Trying to get past Liam Buckley. But Buckley, that's probably one of the last things that he can do with the extra group on those softs, because it'll be at the near stages of the tyre crossover happening, where the mediums become better than the softs. Won't be too far away. Probably another lap or two before that's happening.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. Of course, with the cool conditions, there is a longer life for the soft compound, so it is going to be able to go a little bit further than what it would normally do. So we'll keep an eye on that. So that crossover point becomes a little bit more muddied in terms of our minds. But again, Oliveira, very content to sit behind, very content to get right up underneath the Lego Technic rear wing, under the brakes of the VRS, the Virtual Racing School Kawanda Sim Sport machine. And again, it is not an overtake that Oliveira is able to muster. But by sitting behind, letting Marty do all the work, we've got 4.5 seconds here on the champion of last season. Now, here comes Shirakawa with another little look. He's not going to quite get there in this amazing scrap for 11th position.
While they're fighting too, John Kelly and Ben Horrell behind are running quicker, so they are closing in. Last lap by, Ben Horrell was around about 1.8 seconds quicker than Shirakawa, so these two need to be careful, because the two will soon double up and become 4 in a 4-car battle. It's quite intense around this track.
You're telling me, just watch any F2 or F3 race, you know it's going to be a very awkward one.
4 becomes 14 in that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can get the whole group in F3 like fighting together. But at least for the moment, you would say that this is a race now down to tactics, because we are starting to knock on the door of when is the right time to stop. And for those looking at a one stop, they're probably looking about lap 15. That's an incredibly wide line there by Liam Buckley, who took all of the junior layout, has left him completely exposed here, going into the final sectional corner here at the Curva Alboreto, newly named in honour of Michele Alboreto, the former Ferrari driver. And it will be an attack back on the exit, but I think it will be about who's got DRS, and it will be the car on the left or right of screen right now, Shirakawa, who can just breeze away. 3:43 on the straight. Yep,
when you're already ahead and have DRS, it's a huge advantage. But that's a very, very quick way to lose the spot. And you'll be lucky if there's no under-tray damage. If there's floor damage to that car, that could be race ending. Looks like he might have got away with that just with the slowdown and losing a couple of spots, but that could have been a whole lot worse.
That's what happens when you forget to brake for the next corner. He got the move done, he got everything sorted, he just forgot to brake. That's the only thing that happened, and that's the only thing it will be. Ben Horrell now looking to try and get aggressive on the back, but keep an eye out further forward, because James Shea-Pinsker now is going to have a look down the inside into Ascari, and he's got the move done. Look at that, Thomas Veek left him standing at the bus stop. That is a beautiful move. Let's catch this one on the Virtual Racing School replay.
Not a place that you see too many overtakes. It's sort of, as you said, just crossed over the DRS activation line. But it's normally a place that you just use this DRS zone to close up ground. But yeah, all too easy in the end there for Pinsker. Just made it look like there was no even issues there.
Stay with it. There's been a change for the race lead. Diogo Oliveira has got through on Marty Piatilla, and this is an important overtake. So Marty, it's been a lot of waiting from Oliveira. He got the DRS. He decided, I can't wait any longer. I'm going to go for the move. I'm not going to sit and wait around much longer. And he very, very comfortably manages to grab that overtake and move on up into the race lead. That is not a guarantee at this point in time, especially when you've got Marty Piatilla just behind you. He was someone who was consistently top 10 in the World Championship Grand Prix Series at the time, in an era which was dominated, of course, there, Jay, by the legendary Martin Kroenke.
Yep, and I must say, how good is it to see a Kawanda SimSport car in the top level of iRacing, official racing, or open racing, Not necessarily running in the Formula World Championship stuff, but to see them running in IGPS, absolutely awesome to see once again. Been too long.
It has been too long. It has been incredible to see how they go about their business. And I'm sure that Matt Pittilla will want to make a statement in this opening round. I'll tell you who is making a statement in this race in 4th position. It's Shinsei Yuk at this point in time. 122.6 that last time by. He is keeping pace with number 1, the reigning champion, Matt Wood.
I must say Matt Wood's taken advantage of a lot of issues ahead of him to be able to gain a few spots. So Matt Wood started 5th, he's up into 3rd. Kent Nielsen's up 3 spots. Haven't been any real huge movers. Diogo Oliveira is one of the biggest movers in the field, started 4th and now in the lead. So we haven't seen those big 7, 8, 9, 10 positions gain like we would normally see in these races. Lots of guys only making 2 or 3, a couple with 4, and Anthony Catt, biggest mover at the back of the field. He started last, he's now up into 16.
The difference, though, in this one, Jay, you'd probably say, is that Gleason and Pinsker have both had to try and pick their way back through the field, and those have been the big movers, you could say, on the recoveries, not from net grid position. But Oliveira here has got a bit of a gap then as they cross the stripe, 0.6 of a second, so took 2/10 out on that last run. I think he's starting to think about using the tyres now just before the pit stop comes into play. So just keep that in the back of the mind, that they are now starting to work out when the strategy is going to be right for them in a race like this, and expect those looking to be brave to come in and pit early, because of course the longer they go, the less fuel's in the car, the more likely it is going to be that they're going to be easier on their tyres.
Exactly right. But you also want to go as many laps as you can on this first stint, because the more laps you do now, the less you have to do on the second set of tyres, which means the harder you can push those tyres. So it's an interesting conundrum you find yourself in, whether you want to try and pit early, use the first set of tyres early, burn them up, and then go hard in the second set, or whether you conserve them a little bit and then save yourself. And I'm thinking that Oliveira is going to try and come in probably halfway, but Piatella may have used his tyres up a little bit already and is starting to struggle.
That might just be the case, or it may just be that Oliveira's got a car that is a rocket ship in a straight line, and that would be the biggest concern out there in this one. So Marty Piatella starting to cling on at this stage, and over that lap lost 0.5 of a second, so both improved, 122.3 and a 122.2 respectively on track. Now Thomas V here has got more issues. This is Sergio Borja just behind, and V is clearly struggling with the tyres here today. He's dropping backwards and backwards, and here comes Borja down the inside, and it is as easy as you like. Cover it off, block it at the apex, and a move done. And what will be worrying for those drivers is that one behind these two. Jorge Martinez, 17 seconds off of the race lead. He's very much in the battle for the win overall.
Yep, he definitely is. And pace-wise, last lap by, matched for lap time, a bit faster than Vic, who obviously had right there ready to pounce and obviously made the overtake. But Martinez's pace is coming back towards what those soft tyre runners are running. And probably in the next 2 or 3 laps, we're going to start seeing Martinez do laps faster than most of the soft runner guys. So this is now at the point where Martinez and Adam Webb and who else was on mediums? There's a couple others on mediums. They're going to start coming through the field now and starting to work their way forward, as Beek has another issue and he's going to lose another spot.
Yeah, just like that. So that's even before they reach the DRS activation point. And you can put Yuki Shirakawa in that mix as well. So Thomas V losing another little position at this point in time. And it's again going to be trouble. And look at that, immediately having to bite the bullet. Those tyres are shot on Thomas V's machine. And that is a pit stop, the first scheduled pit stop we've seen at the end of lap 15. And that's a cone.
Yep, Pinsker went straight ahead. And Cone stuck. Cone going for a nice little trip. And it'll end up in a different chicane. Yep. Is it out? There it goes. No, still there.
Go on. tell you what, it's like watching Lionel Messi dribble at this stage, the way he's keeping hold of that cone.
It's welcome to a cone watch on SimSpeed TV. There it goes, or is it now stuck under the car? I think it's gone.
Porque no los dos. At this point in time, we'll catch a look at the virtual racing score replay here as we'll get a little eyes look at how that one all came about. Oh, he's had it for a long time. So clearly he's gone barreling straight on. So he just barrels through. Hits it once, hits it twice, and it's not even the second one. It's the cone's right at the very end he's managed to go and clatter.
Yep. That cone wanted to change which chicane it was sitting at. Decided it wanted to go out further on the lap, further on the track. Pit stops happening. Pit stops are plenty now. Jin Se-yuk in and Adam Gleeson in.
Yeah, and Se-yuk's going to be crucial here for Matt Wood in third place. He's got to cover that off now and make the stop on the next lap. There is Marta Piatilla just behind Diogo Oliveira. So that metric of tyres going off, I don't think is quite correct. Marta's been able to keep himself in range here and just quietly stay into play at this stage with Diogo Oliveira, who is very good with that middle sector. The dirty air effect definitely is playing a factor here. You get loads of turbulences coming off of the various bits of wing that are on the car. You can see that gap a quarter of a second as they hit the brakes, go through the left, the right, the left of the Alberto Ascari chicane, heading up to Curva Alboreto, the final corner out on track. This is when you'd expect one of these two to make a move. Will it be Oliveira in or Marta Piatilla, or maybe both? That might be an option through the Alboreto corner, the former Parabolica now it is, and a little angle says, nope, we're both staying out longer.
I think Oliveira may have went across to the inside of the track there to see if he could drag Piatilla in, and as you predicted, Matt Wood has come in to cover off that pit stop as well, as has Kent Nielsen. They're both in. Pit stops happening everywhere. Pinsker in. Who else is coming in? Martinez obviously staying out and now finds himself in third position.
Borja is in. Now the question is, where is Se-yuk? There is Se-yuk going out through Curva Alboreto right now at the very back. So Matt Wood, this is going to be a big scramble out of the pits to see how close it's going to be. There is Matt Wood right now coming up to speed, and here comes Jin Se-yuk coming at a rate of knots, but he's not going to get there though. Matt Wood has had that covered and had that covered fantastically, so that is a great in-lap then from Matt Wood to make sure Se-yuk can't get there. Ken Nielsen, though, has got problems on his exit because he has just been leapfrogged by Adam Gleeson in the stops.
Very, very quick stop for Jin Se-yuk as well. Pit lane transit time around about 4/10 quicker than than Matt Wood, but you're right. Oh, nice move back there. Good move back. And Ken Nielsen just goes, yep, you can have that one. Good move. Take that away.
Took the road away from Ken Nielsen, who had nowhere to go, but I can't go anywhere. So that is ultimately the issue. Now into the pit comes Diogo Oliveira, outstays Marta Piatilla. This is important. Lap 19 then, Diogo Oliveira decides to come in, and it is Marty staying out for on the end of 18, lap 19 staying out now is Marta Piatilla. So how is this stop looking? Of course, in position from the boxers, Oliveira to get himself the best out of the way again. And come out behind Jorge Martinez. No surprises there with that one. Ben Horrell, though, that's going to be even more awkward trying to get by.
And a long stop for Oliveira as well. 5.2 second stop. Anything over 4 seconds is not a good stop. Oliveira, Thomas Veek, and a couple of guys that had nose replacements needed all over that 4-second bracket. Fastest pit stop, Jin Se-yuk, 3.3 seconds. Dompak Kelly, 3.3. Most of the other stops, 3.4, 3.7 seconds. But 5.2, a long stop, will hurt Oliveira. Piatilla basically just has to stop perfectly on his marks, and he's got the lead of the race. Effective lead of the race.
Effective lead. We must stress effective lead. But for Marta Piatilla, he knows it's not as plain or as simple as that, as he gears right and looks to try and hit the brakes into the pits. Nice on the markers. And now he'll be travelling at 64 kilometres an hour down this pit lane underneath the podium bridge that is there and over towards his box, which will be the last box in the pit lane, mind you, because he started the race from pole position. And as he gears it up, he's got to get nice and neat in his box. Where is Oliveira in comparison? He's coming around. Then the final corner in the iRacing dashboard car. So here comes the charge. Martin Piatella's coming out to the pits. Here comes Oliveira breezing past him. So Oliveira did just enough there. That one lap on the softs has covered off the move. But Piatella now will have better tyres between now and the end.
You know what it was that lost Piatella the ground was a little bit of a casual pit entry. Longer pit lane transit time than Oliveira. Quicker pit stop, but longer pit lane transit time. That's what has cost Piatella potential of jumping Oliveira. Oliveira will think himself very, very lucky that he got away from this long pit stop.
Well, you say casual, I say conservative. It was a very conservative effort to make it happen. There is your race leader, Jorge Martinez, out there on circuit. Do not expect him to pit in this race as they look to challenge through, and that will be crucial from this point onwards. What's also crucial is that Martin Piatella is outside of a second here of Oliveira for the first time in this race. So Piatella struggling to get that car back up to speed again, and we will have a look in a moment to see what the gap is as they cross the line. You can see it's nearly 2 seconds.
Yeah, then the conservatives was the right word I was looking for, but I knew I couldn't think of it at 6:40 in the morning with only one coffee and no sleep.
A likely story.
If it wasn't the Outscott's Bathurst 1000 weekend, you wouldn't say that's a lie, but then you realise that it is, and it's probably true that I haven't slept.
Tell you what, look at this pack in the middle right now. James J. Pinsker on the back of it. You've got Kent Nielsen, you've got Anthony Catt yet to stop, and Adam Gleason's just got through here. So Anthony Catt driving his fabled machine, as he has done so many times before, likes repping his football club out there, driving in a Chelsea kit car at this stage, trying to get as much as he can. He's got all the Chelsea sponsors on it, moving through the big right-hander there of the first Lesmo corner. And surely now, at the Seraglio, this is where Kent Nielsen will pick it up. This is where James J. Pinsker's going to pick it up as well. And now watch as they move to the left-hand side. Want to try and get this move done here. Kent Nielsen, first and foremost, going to try and get there on the brakes, and does so into Ascari.
I must say, Anthony Catt's still got some good pace in his car, because he didn't get swooped on high like I was expecting him to. Pinsker couldn't get it done. I mean, 21 lap old medium tyres. Yeah, 21 lap old medium tyres versus 3 lap old softs. And Anthony Catt is matching these guys. I'm worried though that if he did battle a bit too hard, that he didn't end up with DRS. And you can see no green lights on the dash. Means that he was ahead at the DRS activation line. So that was a little bit sneaky.
Wow!
Clever.
There's the contact. And more contact, up and over almost goes James J. Pinsker. He goes around for a 360, and that was a very, very messy one. It was a bold move by James J. Pinsker to try and get on through. We'll catch it on the Virtual Racing School replay, but this is how a race can go from great to disastrous in the blink of an eye, and this is the moment. So looking to try and set the dummy up, goes for the lunge down the inside, not enough room given, you'd feel. Ken Nielsen's got to turn into the corner at some point, you do have to say, but as he tries to clamber over the curves and rejoin safely, James J. Pinsker taking the natural line there, just doesn't have anywhere to go on the exit, and bang, there's the contact and that jumping effect.
I'll say it was a good 360 to get back facing the right way and go again, but not the way that he would have liked to have got through the first couple of corners. And you could sort of feel that was going to happen as soon as he threw the nose in there. You sort of figured that there was going to be that sort of incident. So expected incident, not surprising that that happened as Matt Wood gets past Shirakawa. What I was about to say was it was cheeky and clever from Kent Nielsen. As he saw Adam Webb coming back, Anthony Catt coming back at trying to get that position, he let him get ahead at the DRS line, so he knew that he had DRS to try and hold off from Pinsker, but obviously that didn't work out as intended either.
No, it certainly didn't. I want to pay attention to Jorge Martinez, who does lead this race right now, and the gap that he has got to Oliveira behind. He is doing a wonderful job. It was 9.3 seconds the margin when they last crossed the start-finish line. So at least for the moment, Martinez is covering it off. He was only 7/10 slower on that last lap with 13 laps to go. 7/10 of a second. That's going to take roughly about 13-14 laps to close down the entirety of that gap. So this is going down to the wire, and it depends on how much life is going to be left in those yellow-walled mediums.
Well, life is still there because the previous lap had set his personal fastest lap of the race and then matched it again that lap there. So pace-wise, no issues at all. Insane pace. Pace is there for Piatella, who's just set the fastest lap of the race. Remember we said before that gap was 2 seconds? It's now 1.5 between Piatella and Oliveira. Not many more of them. Back in DRS range, they can work together. Try and close in on Martinez.
I doubt they'd want to. That's my thinking at this stage. I think they are looking at each other as that is the target I want, and that is the target I want to keep behind. Oliveira's last 3 laps, he's been averaging roughly about 7.5 tenths of a second every single go around, 3/4 of a second a lap quicker. It's going to be a tall order to bring this one back, but one thing we can understand is that it's going to be pretty plain sailing once he reaches. That's the crucial fact. When you get into a second, as abandoning ship as Buckley dives into the pits, is James J. Pinsker again, or actually the car he was trying to pass is Sergio Borja, who and Borja very nearly ran off Thomas Viek on the road.
This race has been crazy in the midfield, hasn't it? It's been absolutely action-packed calamity the whole way through in the mid-pack. So there'll be a few drivers that'll be shaking their head wondering how this race got as spicy as it did. There'll be a few drivers that'll lose their A licence, you'd feel, after this race as well, which for some drivers will be a battle to get back because they will drop a long way down with how many incidents they've been involved in.
Got a battle for position now as Yuki Shirakawa. It's an it's an all-Asian affair, you could say, sorry. As here comes Jin Se-yuk down the inside and comfortably dispatched of Shirakawa, who is having to run what I would call the soft tyre gauntlet at this stage. It'll be Adam Gleeson next, who's just got through on Adam Webb, who is also running the soft tyre gauntlet. And ultimately, it can be painful. And on straight goes one Thomas Viek. And slow down penalty. Thank you, Churi bye.
Yep. Tried to get past Borja and couldn't quite get it done. Then ran off the circuit to try and not make contact. We're just going to have to do it all over once again. Gap at the front. 7.6 seconds now. Oliveira is closing that gap down to the lead. You said it was going to take around about 13 laps. I reckon it's only going to take 9 now.
That's a poor lap.
Yeah.
This is a poor lap because Marty Piatella is within 1.1. It was 1.5 last time, so Oliveira is struggling to string the laps together. Let's see it as he crosses the line. That is a 21.8, and Marty puts a 21.5 down on the board. Great lap, and a great lap from Martinez, 22.4. Don't shake a stick at that. Still not out of the woods just yet. We have just noted there has been a retirement, sorry, that is Claver Toffoli now out of the race, the 3rd retirement overall here in this one. I have no idea how that has happened. We'll try and get word as and when we do, but Marty Piatella, he wants a race win. He reps Coanda, arguably the most successful team to have ever raced on iRacing.
Yep, and guess what? DRS range, activation point in between the two Lesmos, gap just on a second. Is he on the right side of it? No. But I think he will be by the time we get down towards Parabolica. And yes, I'm going to continue to call it Parabolica because like it took me a long time to stop calling Jackie's Corner no name at Spa. It's going to take me a long time to get used to the new name here at Monza.
Well, the Curva Alboreto is going to be very much next. And for Marty Piatella, he knows beyond any doubt he has got to start lining up every chance he can possibly get. This is where the race is going to be won and lost as they will cross the line with 9 laps to go now in this race. Oliveira with a great response, but again, Piatella is able to get a faster lap still, and they took 1.1 seconds out of Marquez on that last go-around. So I think Oliveira's being G'd on by car number 4 behind. Marquez in the 3. He's doing everything right, but he's just a few laps short, you would say, of the full Monty.
Both these guys did the fastest 2 laps of the race on lap number 26. So it's a 7th and 8th lap of their stints versus 27 laps now for Marquez on his tyres. And he also is not far off his personal best laps. So this is shaping up to be an intense battle. Remember, the harder these guys push now, the less tyre they're going to have to be able to make the move on Marquez at the end. But Marquez is going to have to start pushing now, which means he'll have no tyre left at the end. We're going to see 3 drivers who are all very, very evenly matched in regards to skill on no tyres in probably the second hardest car in iRacing.
And at a track which is so dependent on being in range. So keep that in mind as they continue to go for it, really go for it. They must at this stage. There is Marquez again, 22.4. He's running pretty much to a point, but a 21.3 that time by from Diogo Oliveira. The gap is now 5.1 seconds, another 1 second lopped off, and another purple lap. It's like watching Nigel Mansell set qualifying lap times at the moment with Diogo Oliveira at this stage. That is clearly the case right now for Oliveira. Just set purple lap times and win. That's the only strategy that is left in the tank.
Just surprised that you are old enough to know about Nigel Mansell's qualifying laps. I thought you were too young for that. But that makes me feel better if you are old enough, or it just makes me realise how old I am.
-5.
No, that makes me feel old. I remember when he made that horrible switch to IndyCar into Champ Car and didn't quite work out for him. But Piatella, you can see there in the background, rear wing now opening. DRS range engaged. Here we go. This battle has just gone up a gear.
It just has. So Marty Piatella has got to make the choice. He's within a second now. You can see 8.5 tenths of a second. He has the green light on the dash. It means that he does have the DRS to use, and he will use it. Uses all of the outskirts there for Curva Alboreto, trying to really maximise as much of a run as possible. They've got the gap to the leader down to 4 seconds now, and it is a second a lap. They are closing this one. They're going to catch with about 3 laps to go in this race. So this is all down to what can Oliveira and Piatella do, and this is going to come down to how can they get past Jorge Marquez, and how much Marquez is going to hold them up as he fights for the race win.
100% right. It's going to be a very, very intense battle. And does Marquez have enough left in his tyre to be able to defend the spot? And will Oliveira and Piatella have enough left in their tyres when they finally get there? We saw around about, 13 odd laps into their stint, the tyres definitely fell away a little bit. So by the time they get there, guess how many laps they're going to be done on their tyres? Around 13 laps. So this is going to be very, very spicy. You can visually see the gap there as you saw Marquez at the bottom of the screen. So they're within sight. They can see the target in front, and that is a big thing. When you can see the target you have been aiming for a few laps ahead of you finally, it's a little bit inspiring, and probably where those good laps from Oliveira and Piatella came from.
Yeah, just a bit of an update around the rest of the positions. Adam Gleason now is through on Yuki Shirakawa. Kent Nielsen has run the gauntlet on Adam Webb, and Sergio Borja I should say, is through on the likes of Anthony Cat. There is your top 3, and second and third mainly on screen. Oliveira losing a tenth over that last lap to Marty Piatella. But there is the driver doing just enough at the moment. It will be 5 to go at the line. He has not made a pit stop. There is no requirement in this series to make a pit stop, but Jorge Marquez knows better than anybody else. He has just got to outlast the tyres. And if anyone can make tyres work, it is Jorge Marquez. He is a tyre whisperer in this series.
Yeah, and you got the polar opposite, as we said before, the guy that somehow seems to be able to burn up tyres faster than anyone else is Diogo Oliveira. So this is going to be a very, very interesting little battle here. And last lap by, still 8 tenths of a second between them, but Oliveira and Piatella's pace has dropped a little bit. They're about 3 tenths slower than what they had been on previous laps, and this lap doesn't look as good as what we've seen out of others as well. Piatella on an okay lap, probably going to be about the same pace as he was last lap. And Oliveira probably the same as well. Marquez though, not able to match the pace, still around about a second slower than what we're seeing from Oliveira and Piatella.
What's incredible right now is that Marquez is only running 3/10 slower than his fastest lap of the race. He has worked so well into the operating range of his medium-walled yellow compound tyres. You can see the gap though is under 2 seconds. First time in this one, as Diogo Oliveira's 121.3 is the fastest lap of the race.
I retract my previous statement.
Piatella took that away by 0.004 of a second. So now what will Marty find as he tries to get close? He's got to do something here, does Marty Piatella, and he knows that he is stuck at that critical mass where he cannot gain much more. Yeah,
he's got to work with Oliveira for a couple of laps, not apply too much pressure, know that he's got enough pace to be able to catch up to Marquez, and hope that he can get through cleanly and quickly to enable Piatella to then be able to get through cleanly and quickly. And then these two will fight. Hopefully this is what they're thinking anyway. They'll fight all the way to the end. But once they get through, I feel that Marquez might have a little bit left in the tank here. He's just been trying to conserve so that he knows he can then push hard for the final 4 laps when we come up to them now. And guess what? Oliveira, now the gap is under a second.
Under 1 second, but look at the wing. It is not open. It wasn't 1 second when he reached the DRS activation point. Again, it closes down a little bit from Piatella, but now it's going to get awkward. It's going to get interesting here. How hard is Jorge Marquez going to defend the places in the final stages of this race? He's got 4 laps to hold it off between Oliveira and Piatella, and he knows that if he can hold on for these laps, he's guaranteed at least a podium, with Matt Wood 9 seconds down the road from him at this point in time. So it's definitely in the wheelhouse. That's something to think of. A podium would be good points, but Marquez had podiums all over last season, couldn't get the title. He wants the victory, he wants to do it the unorthodox way, but look at how Oliveira closes. He is right there.
Yeah, Oliveira had a very, very inconsistent season when you compare that to Matt Wood. So getting a victory in round 1, what a way to start. And this is one of the highest strength of fields we've seen in a long, long time in this series as well. This is the strength of the field he needed to win the championship in the last round last season. We couldn't get anywhere near it. So this is going to be a spicy championship if we can maintain some of these numbers. Marquez, has he got enough? This is going to be like the Jaws music. It's going to be an inevitable pass. The key is whether Oliveira can maintain the lead once Piatella goes through.
Piatella's got to go. He's got to go and send, and he's not going to be there.
Oh, no.
Thought about it on the inside, and he's not going to get it. So now he's got to make a run to the Rogia here because he can't allow Oliveira to go. He's got to make the move now. Use the slipstream to your advantage here, Marty, and the chance is there. But at the moment, Marquez is covering it off here. He knows he's beaten, though. He lifted out of the way and allowed Piatella to go through on the inside, or on the outside it was, at that point in time. Marty now knows it is one-on-one. It's hand-to-hand combat. It's mano a mano.
And 2.5 laps left for this battle to be finalised over as well. So this is going to be a very, very interesting end of this race. There are still a couple of other battles going on out on track. Now, apologies to the other guys racing, but when you've got a battle for the win that's like this, it's hard to take your eyes away. What a crazy and interesting strategic race this has been. And shout out to Jorge Marquez. Sure, he hasn't got enough pace to match it with these guys now. Started in 14th on those tyres, and he's going to hold on, looking like it anyway, to 3rd position. What a drive.
Give it a couple of laps to go. We've still got Nielsen and Shirakawa fighting, of course, for 7th and 8th place, but we're on board with Marty Piatella. Has he just timed this run to perfection? He's got a monster toe as he goes to the inside and looks to take the race lead away from Diogo Oliveira. He's got it sorted, and can he get the drive off the exit? He can, but Oliveira knows that he is going to be in the prime place coming to the last lap. Some brilliant driving between the iRacing dashboard car and the Coanda car as they now go towards the Rogia.
What a pass that was, but as you say, it's definitely not over. Kent Nielsen is finally going to get this move done, and Yuki Shirakawa, who's been trying to get that move done for a few laps. Shirakawa on mediums that have not been changed. This is going to be awesome at the front. Oliveira is going to want that spot back. Huge points up for grabs, and he wants them all in this race.
He absolutely does. This is maximum pointage. Really close underneath. Going into Ascari. Watch the dirty air effect. Oliveira might just have the best positioning of anybody at this point in time as he looks to try and figure out what can I do to get this move. And he's got to temper the run. He's right up underneath. Doesn't want it at Curva Alboreto because he wants that run here on towards turn one. He washes out in the dirty air, and he's going to get this in the second phase of the straight. Now, Marti Piatilla, how good is the car in a straight line? Because here comes Oliveira trying to work out a way to pass. We'll have to go the long way around here. Under braking. Has he sent it too deep? He has. Too deep he has. And Piatilla now knows he's just got to run the lap.
And has there been any damage to Oliveira? He's going to have to serve a little bit of a slowdown. And Marquez is right there as well. So this is going to be very, very interesting between them. Will Marquez be able to get the spot back? But, I mean, good job from Oliveira to try and make the move happen, but just outbroke himself. Very close, though.
This is a race of fine margins. This is what sim racing is like at the highest level. One small mistake with the margins that they give, and that is trouble. We've still got James J. Pinsker trying to get through on Adam Webb, who's been running the soft tyre gauntlet at this stage, and this might be the final one trying to get through. We'll see whether James will be able to get that one done. The Pompey man trying to make sure that all works out, and this is the point where I say I was from Southampton University once upon a time. But Marti Piatilla will make his way to the Curva Alboreto. He did everything to perfection. He found the mistake from Oliveira behind, and that is a masterclass from Marti. Welcome to the victory. Marti Piatilla, Coanda is back.
What a start to the season. What a race that was as well. Monza once again delivers a brilliant, epic race. 1.6 seconds on the timing sheet doesn't show the true battle that we had for the lead. And Jorge Marquez started 14th on those medium tyres. Ends up with the win. Oh no. I reckon it has. We saw in the major series quite a few tyre blowouts on those soft compound tyres on the last lap. And I feel that you are right about a tyre pop. Definitely a tyre pop.
Fuck, ran out of fuel.
No, it's fuel. He said fuel.
Okay.
Ken Nielsen on the radio's gone, oh, I've run out of fuel. So he panicked going through the final corner then as he went through, understeered out as he tried to get things going, and that has cost him about 5 places. Let's get this on the virtual racing school replay then. See exactly how this goes. He just goes through the corner and suddenly, car doesn't want to respond. As he goes through, he's trying to find any little bit of something to get himself some drive. He's lucky he's not had about 4 or 5 different accidents trying to get back on circuit. And as he's going, you can see the revs really struggling to go up there because the fuel is out.
It sounded almost like he was running on the starter motor to try and get that across the line. Of course, in iRacing, all the cars do have a starter motor. So before anyone hates on me that they don't start cars that way in F1 anymore, these cars did have it, or do have it, because of the way iRacing is. So no hating, please.
Absolutely not, but wonderful, wonderful racing and drama right up until the checkered flag. Then here at the Autodromo Nazionale Monza, Marti Piatilla has got the job done. 48 minutes and 23 seconds. It was a race for the ages. Held it off by 1.6 from Diogo Oliveira, who gave it a red-hot go on the last lap, but ultimately it did not pay off. Jorge Marquez will pick up third with Matt Wood in 4th position and Jin Se-yuk then rounding out the top 5. An amazing drive over the course of today. 6th position would belong to Adam Gleeson, and give credit to these two drivers, the joint biggest movers and shakers in the field. They both gained 12 places today, both Yuri Shirakawa and Adam Webb, jumping up from 19th to 7th and 20th to 8th. It would be 9th for James J. Pinsker, who dropped down the order, and Sergio Borja, who rounds out then the top 10. Looking further down the field, I don't know whether you can see on screen here, ladies and gentlemen, the graphic that we got right now. It will be 11th for Thomas V. Kent Nielsen in 12th. Anthony Catt up 9 places to 13th. And then 14th would belong to Ben Horrell. John Pat Kelly ending up 15th. And the last finisher on the lead lap was Liam Buckley, who was very much here, there and everywhere in the wars today. Klaus Siemens with 17th, 1 lap down, had the damaged wing, as well as Darren Parker a lap down with Jan Brezina. And then your retirees, one Mr. Kleber Toffoli, Luke Dowding in number 10, and Jamie Hall getting caught up in the early fracas of the race here today on the run towards lap number 1. But from a track which everyone knows is a classic, they will go to a track which everyone knows is going to be fantastic as they move on forward. It's the Hungaroring next week, Jay, and a track which by every single metric is going to be technical and is going to be tough.
And it's unknown as well. We have no idea how the race is going to play out. Nobody's raced there yet. It's going to be very, very interesting. Is that new? I haven't even got a screen made up for it. So it's going to be a full week of testing for the drivers to try and get themselves acclimatized to the track and used to the racing. Just noticed one thing as well. Liam Buckley did get a pit lane drive-through penalty during that race as well. And James Pinsker, 1 incident away from doing that as well. So this race had so many talking points. What a round it's been. I love Monza. And I'll tell you what, it's actually been a really good choice as round 1. I've loved it.
I've loved it as well, and you can love it even more here with us at SimSpeed TV. If you haven't had the chance to already, what are you doing? Like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content, such as the V8 Scots Bathurst 1000 coming up in roughly, I would say, about 4 hours from now. So that is definitely something you can keep your eyes peeled for. 161 laps of the Fable track. Andrew Gilliam for Pursuit is on pole position for that one. So a massive thanks has to go to everyone who has got it done for us, including the iRacing open wheel community, who has been keeping a very close eye on proceedings here, of course, with this opening round of the championship. From, of course, Jake Kennedy, cameras and commentary, myself, Jake Sperry. It is back to what it was. They say that form is temporary and class is permanent. What we saw was the permanence of class from Marty Piatilla. It's not going to be all the same way. We go to a track which is completely unknown next time out over at the Hungaroring, but there are opportunities aplenty for those who want it. The likes, of course, of Jorge Martinez, who's pulling double duty as he does DIGPC on a Thursday night. The likes, of course, of Diego Oliveira, who wants to make a championship challenge. And don't forget the champion, Matt Wood. Today was a little bit of an off-colour day. He's got chances on the horizon. To the Hungaroring we will go, and that is 1 week from today.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got with the outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up the wall!
Oh my god! Oh! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go! Oh no!
That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?